Well, my name is Adam David Roth, and I'm Assistant Professor of Communications Studies and Rhetoric at the University of Rhode Island, and then also the Director of the Basic Course Program in Communication. I like to travel everywhere, so I've traveled to over 35 countries. Just in the past few months, I was in Greece, and then I was in Israel, and then I was in Moscow, Russia. But I've been mostly throughout Europe as well, and sections of the Middle East and North Africa and South America. And so traveling is a hobby of mine, but it's also a way for me to get my research out into an international context. I'm not a photographer. I've never owned an expensive camera, but I love taking pictures. Istanbul had more goods for sale than any place I had ever experienced before. There's this grand bazaar there, they call it, which is the central marketplace of the city, that has everything you could ever want to buy, from disposable razor blades to, you know, high-end jewelry. And there are different sections in this market where people, you know, come together, and they might be jewelers, and on the other end there might be blacksmiths, and in another area there's food, and so it's a really cool place to visit and to shop. That picture is awesome. That is of spices in the Egyptian spice market in Istanbul, Turkey. And I just love the layout of the spices. I love the colors. You can't reproduce the aroma in this place, and it really caught my attention. Food, for some reason, always catches my attention in other countries, and I wind up taking more pictures of food than anything else. I love the symmetry. I love the parallelism. I love the neatness, the orderliness of the products. Everything looks so perfect. There's so much attention and care was put into crafting this product for the viewer. Almost as if the spices are sort of telling a story to the customer, and that really caught my attention, along with the really vibrant, lively colors of the spices. Fruit is big in the Middle East. They like fruit. And one thing, and I love fruit too, and I make fruit smoothies in the morning all the time, and so I was really impressed with these smoothie stands that were all over the country, and you can get, you know, they have an entire menu of all the different smoothie drinks you can get, or different shots of fruit juices and vegetable juices with, you know, additives and protein powders and whatnot, and so this was one of those stands, but what was impressive about this stand is that they really took the time to decorate the facade with all of the fruit that they had. And what I thought was really interesting as well is the person who's actually ordering a smoothie or a drink from there, and she's dressed in this sort of 1950s sort of New Jersey diner outfit, it looks like, but she's really just spending a day at the beach, because this stand was right on the beach, right on the boardwalk of the beach in Tel Aviv. And so not only was the fruit sort of all over this scene, but you also have this very interesting encounter of people in it too. There were a lot of other stands that sold fruit, none of them this elaborate, and none of them I saw that also sold pizza.
Oh, really?
And this one has the sign of pizza in the back, which I thought was somewhat of a contradiction of food types. It's amazing to go to a country that blends all different kinds of technology. And so here you have in Morocco, I think this was in Marrakesh, Morocco, and you have old-fashioned natural animal technology of a donkey. And the donkey is pulling a wagon that's handmade of wood and strapped together, and at the same time it has an axle from a car or a truck in the back. And so you have this conglomeration of different technologies that are moving products across town, and at the same time you can see in the background a lot of the products of the technology, like the carpets that have been woven and are for sale, and you also see in the background a sense of the character of the people of Morocco. You get a sense of their Muslim heritage. You see Muslim man in the background, and in the front you see this guy with this sort of winter cap, which is also very common in Morocco, especially when you get up into the sort of northern areas in the mountainous region where the Berbers live too. And so, and of course, then you have cars around this donkey that's pulling a handmade wagon that also has a car axle on it. And I think the clash of technologies is what impresses me most. These are Russian matryoshka dolls. And they're everywhere in Russia. And these are just the tchotchkes, the gifts that everybody buys, and you know, you open these dolls and inside's a smaller one, and you open that and there's a smaller one inside that. And this picture I really love because of the color of these matryoshka dolls, how they were sort of all pushed together, and it was also somewhat a metaphor of life in Russia, because it's such a busy place in Moscow and there are 16 million people and there are traffic jams and people are pushed together, even though it's one of the biggest countries in the world, the biggest. I mean, it's just incredible how large Russia is, but everybody is, you know, pushed inside Moscow like the matryoshka doll. I was in Paros, Greece in 2011, I think it was. And I was also there for a conference for the International Association for Greek Philosophy. And Paros Island is one of the Cycladic islands, which is very close to Mykonos and Santorini, the Cyclades, or the circular islands in Greece. And part of the beauty of Greece are all of the ports and all of the boats, and a lot of the Greeks are fishermen. And this, I was standing on the other side of a pier facing sort of the port, and the sun was just about to set and the lighting was perfect, and this beautiful tiny little hand-painted boat was sitting right in the scene against the white backdrop of the buildings, and everything just looked almost angelic and dreamlike, and so I snapped a photo. I'm supposed to be going to China in December and January, so that's coming up soon, but I have a lot of other places I would like to visit. I'm still waiting to go to India, where I've never been before, and there are a lot of African countries that I would like to visit too. I was really impressed with my trip to the Middle East this summer, and I'd like to travel around there some more as well, but I hope travel's a lifelong activity for me, that I continue to keep doing it and at the same time continue to present my work all around the country too, which allows me to visit so many places. I think it's very important to travel abroad, although I don't think one should travel abroad just for the sake of traveling abroad, nor do I think people should take time off for a semester or a year to travel abroad. If you want to travel abroad for an extended period of time, then I'd recommend enrolling in a graduate program, or at least taking courses abroad or doing something. I mean, I think many people have this dream of just, you know, beatniking it and, you know, hitchhiking around Europe and sort of doing nothing, but we need money in the end too. And you also want to be safe and you want to be productive in your time. And I think the best time spent abroad is when you actually have a purpose abroad, and when you have people who you're meeting in programs or in workplaces or on tours. But if nothing else, yeah, I'd encourage people to at least take a week or 2-week trips abroad and to experience as many other cultures as possible, because the most amazing thing about this world is both how dissimilar we all are, and at the same time how similar we all are, how we're all part of this common humanity.